Alright, dumbass. Just stay right there. Got my headshot lined up. What? I was totally a headshot. What kind of bullet drop do these rounds have? Fine, no scope.
Got it!
What the heck?
And this is our review of
EBOLA VILLAGE.
I'd like to thank the publisher for providing me a review copy of the game.
developed by
Axios.
and published by
Indie Game
Oh
Studio.
boy, this mature title released onto the PlayStation and Xbox marketplaces on January 23rd for the price of $19.99. Oh boy, spooky, spooky, creepy, creepy, look out. I don't know if it's even possible to review this game without drawing a direct comparison to early Resident Evil titles. I can't even tell the difference. Which necessarily isn't a bad thing. Those games hold a lot of nostalgia for me, and quickly became the gold standard for the survival horror games. I'll just quickly draw the comparison to the creepy environments, zombies, red herbs, green herbs, survival knife, cases of 9mm and shotgun shells scattered all over the environment, and the inclusion of the symbolized playing card keys. And leave it at that. I mean, I've said it before, imitation is the highest form of flattery, and it's just a well-worn path of what players are looking for in a survival horror game, right? EBOLA Village comes to the console as a port of the PC game released last year, holding around 350 very positive reviews on Steam, and it definitely retains much of the rigid feel of the PC build, from items on the main menu linking you to website, and other awkward controller mapping options that are not exactly intuitive to the gamepad. The quirky character interactions and general Eastern European Slavic environmental design here helps the game feel foreign and unsettling. The environmental textures look great in 4K once the pop-in was fully rendered when changing maps, which are small and require RE1 load times when walking through the doorway. On the Series X and PS5.
What the fuck?
You'd think they'd have optimizations for this by now. Big props for fleshing out the environments and littering them with objects and creating a sense of realism, which is rarely seen in most indie titles. The storyline was pretty predictable, as I anticipated each of the jump scares. The NPCs are hokey and add to the overall campy feel, which I could only imagine was intentional. At least I hope so. I was thrilled to see the conversations were fully voice acted, even if in broken Polish English, the general gist of the conversation was conveyed well. I do prefer to play games in their native spoken language, as voice inflections and emotions are better conveyed rather than having a lifeless voiceover actor. The environmental soundtrack created the feeling of nervous anxiety with subtle sound effects that really helped the immersion here. I think probably goes without saying that a good set of headphones are highly recommended for this one. Now, I did my playthrough on easy mode, which didn't even get close to the 3-hour speedrun achievement, so I guess that just goes ahead and adds to the whole replay value here. There are achievements and trophies for each of the 3 difficulty level completions, and a few collectible requirements outside of the storyline progression achievements. I definitely wouldn't call this a quick or easy completion, as it's not overly difficult either, but once you get to know where the objects are and can endure all the backtracking here, it just requires multiple playthroughs, which could become a bit grueling overall. Being that it is a PC port, it confuses me why these games here aren't released as an Xbox Play Anywhere title. The industry is leaning into the cross-device model, where players can pick up their game no matter where they are on whatever device they're using. I'll say it again here, XPA is the way. XPA is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
The overall execution of the gameplay here is handled well through awkward swings and frantic shots fired at the infected that oftentimes spawned either right in front of your face as a swarm in a cramped hallway. The The storyline tends to take a knee as the campy dialogue and voice acting made many of the engagements here feel like an act of comedy over anything that might approach the description of being dramatic. I might even been tempted to dismiss his title as a poor man's Resident Evil clone, but Ebola Village deserves more than that, I think. If anything, it is a celebration or a tribute to the very elements that really made Resident Evil a fan favorite. Not a clone, a tribute. That's just my take, you know? But overall, in the end, this game takes place in a condensed footprint with small map sizes and excessive load times on both the PS5 Pro and the Series X consoles. Once the textures loaded, the environment looked great with obvious creative love given to the little details. Being forced to retrace your steps across the maps multiple times to unlock the next door and get the little trinket to progress the storyline was annoying, but once again, this is a trademark of the early RE games. The background music and sound effects raise the nervous energy and anxiety about what lurks right behind the next door. As a budget campy survival horror title, Ebola Village does a great job of delivering a tribute to one of the greatest series to grace our consoles. It may not break the mold or be remembered much more than like 10 years from now, but neither will the $20 it cost me for the 10 hours of entertainment. Therefore, Ebola Village left the old farm with 4
beans out of 5.
Yeah, well, that wraps up that review right there. Here's some notes I took. Where I put the keys to the tractor.
So, you know we make these new review videos every week, so if you're an indie developer or there's something you want to see,
I got through everything I wanted to in 2025. If your game didn't get reviewed, it's probably in the backlog.
let us know your thoughts and recommendations in the comments down below. Be sure to visit again next week
as we continue to take humorous stabs at some of the industry's new and upcoming titles.
Stay safe out there. We'll see you next time on the farm.
For emergency news. According to the latest report, a tragedy has occurred in the state of California where an accident caused the leak of a new dangerous strain of the Ebola virus.
Fucking hell! Look at this face! What the fuck am I supposed to do with you? Listen, call an ambulance, quick!
and emotions are better conveyed rather than a lifeless voice actor.